statistics are obtained from the CARI, Agricultural, Livestock and Research Organization. And then user design is going to use the UML. The construction stage, you are going to use Python. Transition stage. And then lastly, of course, you could talk about ethical consideration. He has given a bit of the questionnaire, the way it's going to look like for requirement analysis. And then, of course, the other questionnaire where how you're going to test, give people to test. So all this is in your e-learning portal, so that then you can be able to compare with what you have and then ameliorate what you have. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is how then are we going to go about this. Now, the class has been slotted into at 8:15 to 10:15. So for the chapter 3, then you need to, I think I've already updated that. So you had up to, I had thought that you are going to probably begin the earlier, the deadline was a little bit earlier, but then I think there was a complaint that you need to have enough time to focus on the exam. So then I think I've more or less given you enough break so that then you can now revert back to the normal, so that then you can now focus on the project alone. Having finished, then your exams now are behind us. Now, what I will request you to do is that you need to do a little bit more in the beginning of the semester, so that then towards the end, because I think what also happened last time is that towards the semester you are getting too much work in terms of from other units. So to avoid that, then we will try to ensure that you work a little bit harder in the beginning, so that then towards November or so, you can be able to have finished the project design, so that then before you go for a holiday, because I think the way it has been scheduled is that you will finish coursework by December before you close, and then you will come to do the exams in January. So if we could have finished issues to do with the projects by that time, then that means that then we have time now to do other units like the coursework. Now, what I wanted to say is that how we are going to do this is that the timing has been put to be 8:15 to 10:15, I think so. So what we'll be doing is that ordinarily, like today is just a briefing, so it's not going to take much time. But then in the days that you are supposed to present, then I will split you into two groups, which is actually will be the major part for this particular semester. So it's ideally like every week you will be presenting, but of course, different people will be presenting at different times. So rather than pile them up and everyone has to present at a particular time, I think that at the same week, that then will be done. I don't know what, Afandi, I don't know what you are asking about. Could you maybe ask in orally?
You've mentioned presenting of
Yeah.
something. I don't know what you're presenting because you've been presenting things so many times. What are we still presenting?
Yeah. So what will happen is that for each of the milestones that you will need to happen now for this the next basically milestone is to do a progress kind of like um, for instance, how far have you gone in terms of development? So there's a stage at which you will present the user interface, probably the initial user interface, and then after that you will present also the working database model that probably you have developed, and so on until we get to the final when you'll be able to present now the final working project. So what I'm saying is that to avoid the aspect of like as you waiting until the end so that then you can present the working project. So we'll be presenting in bits. Like for instance, at least what have you done up to now in terms of the real projects. You see, what we have been doing before is basically presenting what you plan to do. But now we will, for this particular semester, after this, then we will start presenting the real, like the system that you are developing and so on, so that then we can be able to get some feedback, and then we can, like, of course, in conjunction with what you have with your supervisor, you can be able to move on. So that's basically the what I'm saying will be presenting.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
How is that supposed to be done? Because I feel like it's going to be a bit time consuming.
Yeah.
How is it supposed to be done? Because most of the time when someone is starting to develop something, it's just basic code that's always going to be there. How are we supposed to explain our code to you so that you can understand how our progress is?
Yeah, the idea is to have the idea is to basically, from experience, what has happened is that if we wait for you to be able to have completed and the system is working, then there is always normally you will always there's a tendency of people waiting until it is completely like complete in terms of working. And then the other thing that normally happens for software is that it will never be complete actually. Even the time that you will be finally be presenting, maybe what you had said you were going to do, there could be some things that you have not actually done even at that particular point. So, or maybe one particular section is working and another one is not working, and stuff like that. Now, to avoid you panicking at the end, so then suppose that you start with a simple thing like what we normally start with is like give a graphical. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to develop a system that maybe if I give the example of the one that you want to take an X-ray, then from there you want to determine the progression of the breast cancer. Now, with that, the first thing, of course, you will want to do is to check on how the basic interface, how it is going to be. Although it's not, maybe the recognition is not working at that particular point, but then at least entering, I can be able to enter that shell of data, and then I can be able to maybe capture, like if I enter manually, I can be able to capture So the aspect of then the shell of, or rather the interface of how it is going to look at the end, although the back end might not be working at this particular point, because maybe you need to, if you are trying to develop, you are trying to connect your IoT device to your mobile, maybe that part of IoT has not worked. Maybe the mobile also has not actually started working for now. So, but you have a backend, how you are going to register the person, you're going to do this analysis such that then you can be able to view the basic data. But then normally people are not at the same level. There are some people who will be having almost like now the back end is almost working, and then maybe they are developed also the front end, the user mobile app. But then maybe then what they are trying to do is the analysis of the machine learning part. So that is what probably at that particular point they have. The whole idea is then, if you are stuck at a particular point, it will be easier for you to be able to to be able to correct whatever that you have done, as opposed to trying to wait until the last minute, which then, because if you wait for until the last minute, then the problem is that now you'll have more things that are not working, or at least if you are able to see that the others are almost also at the same kind of level as you, then you are getting motivated to move on and stuff like that. Yeah. So ideally what you will be presenting is exactly what you have been doing. Like, then that means that you have to do something each month, so that then in the next time that you are doing the progress, you have advanced a little bit from what you had presented the previous time. And then I think I can take a few of these
Pero
for
I
people.
feel it would be
Yes.
easy for us to work with the supervisors, because this can be a bit very time consuming. Because last semester, as we were presenting every single week, we didn't make much progress because we kept on presenting. Like the whole of last semester, the only thing we used to do was presenting.
Yeah, I think you need to work quite closely with the supervisor, because you see, you are 100 and something. So each group is about 58. So it's not possible for you to present more than once in a month. And then what we are saying is that we are not, I don't want you to, again, the time is not there for us to be able to present like the same person present every week. So what we are going to do is just to have only a few milestones, like the presentations are going to be only 3 times, I think, in this particular semester. So you meet with your supervisor every week, you work on the progress, but then there's that milestone. So like what I'm saying is that you'll have to have a particular point where you at least have the user interface. Then there has to be another time at least where we can be able to see the database model. And then the final one will be where now we have at least all these 3 parts integrated: the user, the backend, and then the data analytics that you probably are doing. So before then we can be able to close onto that. I don't know whether I think what you are saying is exactly the same as what we are doing, because we are not per se going to present every week. Like, for instance, every person presents every week. So it's basically on a particular milestone that you should have done, you should have worked on that, so that then we don't wait to be surprised with your project at the end. Maybe either it's working or not working. Yeah. And then the other one is for those people doing machine learning projects, will we be presenting the notebooks, or for now we are still on the model? Okay. So I am not. Okay, fine. And then if you have a questionnaires for data collection, do we have? Okay, so for the data collection, I think you will work very closely with your supervisors, and then they will be able to guide you. Even the question for machine learning, they will guide you on what basically you need to achieve, so that then you can be able to get progress. So what I will advise is that you should have a running continuous meeting of every week with your supervisor, so that then each of this time you'll be able to have something to discuss with your supervisor, so that then we can be able to advance more in terms of this particular area. Then the other one, can you generate your own data if there is no available data set? Yes, that one is possible. So normally what we do is we do a dump. We do like a random generation of data, and then that we can use for the initial training. Afandi, I will come back to you in a minute. What are every week? Will we be presenting data cleaning every week? No. I think that one I've explained. And then Cosmos, you are saying, will it be possible to slot some Friday lesson for us to meet with our supervisors, as you have no free time? So this could be something that we could probably discuss. So you are saying, Cosmos, if I get you clear, is you're saying some weeks we can opt out, and then in that case, then you meet with the supervisor, or what? Cosmos, you can say something?
Yeah, that was what I was inquiring about.
And then Afandi?
So I don't know if this can be implemented, but my suggestion was, if you
Yeah.
really have to work closely with our supervisors, wouldn't it be easier for us to give them our milestones report so that they can come to you? Because it's a bit easier for us to move forward as that is working. And also, if our supervisors give us a go ahead, we can proceed.
I think I don't know whether I've lost you. She has gone off.
Okay, so what I is, if you really think it's important for us to work closely with our supervisors,
Yes.
wouldn't it be easier for them to give you feedback on our milestones than for us to have to present? Because it's going to be easier and we can move faster than us having to present every month.
Yeah. Okay, I think that is combined with what Cosmos was asking. Probably what we could try and do is so what we could try and do is to basically have a possibility of having some more or less time that you could be able to, like, if you can be able to dedicate the Friday as the day that you probably do the project. So I think that is something that I can study. Maybe I can also ask the supervisors what they think about. But if in the past, what they have always recommended is this, what the approach that I'm using, of where you meet every often, like every. So if you say, depending on how the schedule of the supervisor is, then you can meet every Friday, or for my case, I think I've been meeting. Okay, so you meet different groups at different times. So if for instance someone decides like every Friday you guys are going to meet at 11 or at 8 or at 11 or something like that, then you guys will make a good progress in terms of building that close working with the supervisor, so that then they can be able to journey with you in terms of ensuring that whatever that you are giving is very is to standard. Then so what you are asking is if that will be sufficient, so that then we don't need to again meet. So what they are thinking normally is, but that is something that probably I can ask, given that we are now on remote. But normally their thinking is that if we don't have, of course, they are very good. There are some students who are very good, and they are very consistent in meeting their supervisors and all that kind of aspects. But then to ensure that actually everyone is on the same page, because there are some who actually disappear completely. They don't see their supervisor and so on. So in that kind of regard, then, and also in case that the supervisor also, we are also trying to evaluate both of you actually. So because it's a project, so it's not really like there's anyone who is right and anyone who is wrong, but it's just basically that at the end of the day, we need to have a particular minimum. So these plenary kind of sessions help us to be at the same minimum, so that then you don't get that supervisees of this particular person are at point 30 and the other ones are at point 40 and the other ones are point 60. So this way, then you can be able to get to share. But I think once I meet them, then we will try to make sure that we maybe have very limited in terms of the number of sessions that we will have as a plenary, so that then majority of the time you can be able to have a time with your supervisor. I'm thinking of also a possibility if we can use this class at times to be able to, because now since we have this account, we can actually have, instead of us having a class per se, then we can actually split into the groups depending on the supervisors, and then you can actually have a session to be able to ask anything, and then that can be a good formal kind of meeting, because then we are also trying to ensure that we don't have this too much of Zoom. But anyway, so that's what we are trying to do with that. I don't know whether that's okay, Afandi. So we can use a hybrid of that, where you meet your supervisor. Of course, they will give some feedback on what you're doing, but then to ensure that all of you are at the same position, you don't get disadvantaged, then we can have one or two sessions of plenary. then you are saying that that will be very viable for physical classes. Okay. Yeah, but anyway, it's something that I will study. So I think if it won't work, then you have seen that we have changed quite a number of things. So in the process, we can try to see if what works for us. The idea is just to be able to work with your supervisor, and from your supervisor, I will expect that then you will get a lot of support of what, because you will be presenting to them what you are doing, the difficulties that you are having, and then they will be able to guide you. For the plenary session is more or less just to ensure that that is happening. So that is ideally what we are going to do. Now, the other thing that I wanted to also talk about is we are still running the WISE. We want to restart the WISE program, women in science and engineering, basically the STEM. So this is a program basically for the ladies, so that then basically you can be able to get in touch with the people in the industry and then be able to basically be given some classes on the CEO mindset and all that kind of aspect. So this is something that is sponsored by the Microsoft team. So I think I will ask the ladies. So then I will give you the more information probably, and then we can have a side. You can have a side meeting with the guys from Microsoft who are running that. Now, in addition to that, I would like to, during the panel sessions, I would like to integrate some people from the industry also. Some of them will be from Microsoft, mainly from Microsoft, Google, and IBM, but majority are from Google and Microsoft. But Microsoft, more or less, since we have this WISE program. So unfortunately, this year we will not manage to go physically to the Microsoft office for those who are going to conduct the WISE program. But then for the Google program, it will be open to everyone. So you'll have several virtual sessions from the Google office in Zurich, where basically most of the things might not exactly be related to the project, but it's more or less an exposure to the industry, the way what they are doing in terms of preparation for you to be able to work in the industry setting. So this will be open for all, both the boys and the girls, so that then you can be able to get one-on-one from the guys in like, for instance, what is changing right currently and how is the sector of IT moving forward. So I think I shared this with the class reps. Did I do that? I think so, yeah. So I have already shared the communication. I hope all of you have logged in. Basically, I've registered for that session for the Google session. But then I will also use the same connection to be able to have some people from the Google Research Center to be able to most likely at the end, maybe a few during the plenary session, but most likely at the end, so that then they can be able to see if there are some, especially for those who will be having very good projects, so that will be a possibility of marketing yourself, either for them to take you into a job or to do the financing of your project. So that is one of the other things that I would like to do a little bit different this year. So including the industry partners, so that then we can be able to benchmark, or rather be in the same status as the other students from other universities all over the world. Yeah, I don't know whether there is anything else. Just a minute. So let me try to answer the couple of questions. Maybe you can, I think the easier one is you can ask it orally, so that then it's easier for me to, because I can see quite a number of private. Okay. Mm-hmm. Vanessa, you were asking something about reducing of load. I don't understand. In the other units or what?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Asking you, when you're going to talk to the other lecturers, is
Yes.
there a way you can tell them or make them understand? Because we've tried talking to them during the lessons, for them to try and maybe reduce the workload in the units, because some of them are already hinting towards numerous assignments, numerous presentations, and all that workload. And if for you, you're expecting us to present every other Friday on the progress of our reports, there's some weeks maybe you won't even see any progress or anyone continue with the project. So is there a way you can communicate with them? Because when we try to make them see our side of the story, then it becomes an entire issue.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to understand. Now it's becoming a bit clear from what Afandi was saying also. It looks like I thought you have 6 units or?
No, we don't have 6 units this semester. We're doing 8.
8.
Yes, we're doing 8.
Wow, that okay, fine. I think what then I can try to see if that can, if we can be able to. Now, what is a proposal that you like to? What do you mean by reducing load? Like, for instance, what typically would you want me to say? Like, what in terms of the reduction? What will you?
Some are talking about doing like 5 assignments within the units with like 3 cuts, something like that. Maybe just reduce the number. Or for your case, if we can have maybe one Friday we're presenting, the other Friday we're working on our project, one Friday we're presenting, the other Friday we're working on our project, and so on. Just something like that. If you can work out some form of timetable.
Okay. I think then what we will, what I think now I understand what exactly is the issue. Now, what we can do for this one, maybe we can have, we can think of a possibility of having an alternate, like for instance, this week we have met, the other week. But what I would really like to request you is not to stop working on the project, because the other units are more or less things that you read and then finish. But for the project, you need to do it continuously, because a project that is done for 1 week will not be the same as a project that is done for 6 months. Because if you do it for 1 week, then it will be clear that it's actually a 1 week project. So that won't be very innovative. But if you do, maybe if you spare some time every week, you spare some time to do a particular thing of the project and then you progress, that will be fine. So irrespective of the number of times that we are presenting, presenting is basically for us to ensure that you are actually working on it. But then that will be, that I think is something that we can say probably we can do alternate, because then that gives you maybe the week that we are not meeting, then that week can be for you to meet the lecturers. Then for the other units, what I will do is that I will try to ensure that there is a clear rule on, then you see, like the way we have maximum of 2 cards normally. I guess that's what you have been doing. So the way we have a maximum of 2 cards, then we will try to ensure that at least there is also a maximum of assignments. So 2 cards and then maybe 2 assignments at most. So that then I think the rest of the things you can do in class, so that it doesn't have to be so that the experience in class is a little bit better. We don't overload you and stuff like that. So that's, I think, what I will try to. That's what I will try to ensure. I will try to demand from the other units. Then, will we do exams in school? That's a tough question. I think ideally, what from the experience we had from the previous one, I don't know what your experience was like, but it looks like it doesn't really matter whether we will, if the universities, or rather if the situation will have been that because the exams are supposed to be in January, so if by then we will have done a phased kind of reopening. So like, for instance, if we have a group that is coming in November to be on campus, and things will have normalized by that time, then that could be a possibility that you might do the exams on campus. But otherwise, if things will not have normalized, we just do what we did this last semester. I don't know whether that's, or what are you proposing, Afandi?
No, it's okay. I just wanted to find out what your opinion is.
What will you prefer?
Since we have parents, okay, speaking on my side, I don't live alone. I have a parent, I have a sister, I stay with many people. So I would not like to go home with a virus that's going to affect them, especially if the school is not going to be the one working towards paying my bills. So I'll still prefer doing the online thing that we did for last semester.
Yeah, I think if the situation will not have normalized, like if we will not have gone to if we will not have gone to like zero kind of infections, then I think for us, for me, I'm very confident about the system. Actually, we developed other kind of we found out that this system of examining is as good as we have had a few cases of irregularity which we discovered at the end after, but it looks like, to me, it looks like it is not any different in terms of the number of irregularities that we have is not different from what we normally have from the normal university setting, especially with the system that we were using of um, where you have a timed kind of scenario so that then students can be able to prepare, and then the exam is almost the same as the one before. So I don't see, for myself, I don't see a possibility of us maybe doing it on campus because I don't know how the situation will be unless now the curve flattens completely and everyone has gone back, no case is being recorded. In that case, then we can say let's go back to campus. Actually, the big part of so the bigger part of inconvenience is normally on the lecturers because they need to like what, although we have gone beyond there because we printed the scripts for them and so on, so then they can mark as normal as ordinary. So that is, I think, the only inconvenience, like to mark scripts that sometimes are not legible enough and all that kind of aspects. But so I don't see any issue of us again doing the exams the same way remotely as we did. So where you develop a camera for yourself at home, and then we can be able to see you. That's it. Then someone is asking, what about reopening? Yes.
Sorry, I wanted to ask. So now, when it gets to January, probably, and we're coming to school, what if someone has COVID and they can't obviously come and sit among people? So will that person like be allowed to do online exams, or because I do feel like it'll be unfair for them to kind of wait till the next year.
Yeah, that's what I've said, is that I don't see, if we will not have gotten out of COVID, I don't see a big deal of us not doing the exams the same way we did this time. Because as I was saying, ideally the fear is always that there will be more irregularities if you are doing remotely. But then from the experience we had from the other one, we got quite some number of irregularities, which mainly were discovered after the exam. But it's not a bigger number than what we normally get as irregularities. So I don't see any point of us risking and so on. So if the situation will not have streamlined, then we will venture into doing the exams in the same way, so that then what you're asking will not be the case. But otherwise, if I think the that the schools are also going to open. Initially they were going to open only form fours, but I think I am not sure, that they have now decided to open everyone. So with that kind of setting, then because everyone will be out, everyone will be going to school, everyone will be going to work, so you don't know where the virus is coming. And if we have a flattening of the curve and we have 0 cases being recorded at some point, then there's no reason why probably we we can't open. But we will only open for us since we have already gone ahead and run a successful remote teaching and learning. So I don't see the reason why we will be really in a rush to ask you to come if the situation doesn't, if the situation is still like has some doubts. In fact, for masters programs, what we have said is that for the whole of this academic year, whether the COVID disappears or not, we will be offering the coursework remotely. So that there's nothing really to worry about. Good. Anyway, so that's. I think I can see two hands. One is it Tyro.
Okay, hi, morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, let me just jump a bit out of topic. Something about our CBA marks. For the guys who did it in the second year, before third year, we haven't gotten our marks yet. Is there a problem on that? Most of us haven't gotten.
CBA. I am not aware of any issue, but if you could you, is it the whole class?
Yeah, it's a majority of us who did it just before our third year.
Oh, okay, the ones who did it in second year.
Yeah.
Could you write to me an email? Then copy the FIT at strathmore.edu.
Okay.
Just have the title as the CBA marks.
Okay.
So then it's not confused with the rest, and then we can try to follow. Maybe there could be an issue there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And then 102.321. Sorry, I can't see the name.
It's Jerry.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to raise an issue with supervision. From the experience last semester, I wasn't getting like prompt feedback. Like I'd suggested like having a meetup time, and like my supervisor didn't get back to me on that. And also for the chapter 1 and 2, I sent an email and a text to confirm, or rather to notify them that I'd sent them the email for them to like give me feedback. But I was given feedback even like after the deadline. So I was wondering if maybe there could be communication to the supervisors to be a bit more prompt with the communication, so that we're not left like on our own doing this. Yeah, because it's supposed to be sort of a team effort.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think, to be sincere, I think there could have been an overwhelming kind of. I think we were new into this kind of situation, and then now you are only communicating through email. You don't have a physical kind of setting. But then if there are some specific ones, I know that there is one set of supervisor that I had to reallocate everyone who was doing that, but because I think he was not available, and then he's a guy from the industry, so I had to remove everyone from there and then allocate. But if then the situation becomes, because I think this is what we try to meet when we meet with them, with the supervisors, this is what everyone always says, that they are meeting the students and so on. But then I think saying and meeting might be different. But I think so. My hope is that because it was a new kind of mode that we were trying to run, maybe then there's an people were overwhelmed actually. Like myself, I had been a bit overwhelmed for the last let's say 3 weeks or so, especially after we started the exam. So because you have now there's no other mode of communication, everything is email, every small thing is a meeting on virtual and so on. So that could lead to some exhaustion. But I think this semester things are going to be different. So we'll try to ensure that that is accomplished. But if you have any issue, then you can always get in touch. Now, I think try to get maybe, I think all of you have my number, so you can always get me on WhatsApp. I think it's a little bit easier for me to like, if it's something that I need to communicate and then give you back and so on, because I think I've seen the emails could be lost together with the other 101 emails now that everyone is communicating on email. And then anything else? Also first year, is there any, okay, the lecturers I think I've addressed. Anyway, I've gone a bit out of what the unit, but then Mtaba, so what I've said is that it's not true that you're going to presenting every week. That I think that is clear now from what I was talking about. So you're not presenting every week. The idea is just to meet your supervisors, and then once, I think we'll have maybe twice that you will be able to present on the plenary, so that then we see what you have been doing with your supervisor, but not every week as you think. The other issues to do with, I will sort out the other issues to do with if there is a change of supervisor, the ones who had requested on the change of supervisor, the ones who had redone, and so on. So those are things that I will sort out on my side. I don't know whether there's anything else I've not answered so that I can end. Solomon, I am not getting what's the point. Solomon Kipto.
Yo, good morning.
Good morning.
Like, I have been sending several emails since last semester, and I haven't even been getting responses or like feedback or anything. Like the feedback I got last sem was unclear, and when like I wanted to follow up with like 3 lecturers, all of them blue ticked me. So I was like wondering what am I really doing this semester? Because it's like there's no one who wants to help me, and yeah, it's just a problem, a big problem.
I've just seen your. Okay, fine. I think let me get back to you on that. Maybe we can do a side chat on that, right? Because I guess you are asking a specific issue relating to yours, right?
I think also some people have vented frustrations over not receiving responses about their projects, and we all have problems in our projects. I haven't even been able to do corrections, and I'm hearing now chapter 3, and it's just a lot of work.
In your case, what was the problem? Is it that you didn't have you were not working. Who was your supervisor?
It was Doreen. She told me to communicate with you, and you weren't responding. And when I got some response from Joe, I tried communicating with him. He wasn't able to respond. So I was wondering what's happening, what's going on. You guys organized, or what's happening?
Okay. Sorry about that. I think I will. I can maybe get back to you now that you have raised the issue, and then I can be able to see what was exactly the issue, especially from the supervisor's point of view.
Okay.
Don't feel. Don't. I think what it's not like it is an intentional kind of non-communication, but of course that doesn't justify. But I think for now, I think we are going on. We will try to correct that so that then the response is a bit fast. So what I'm trying to say is that probably with the working more with your supervisor will be easier for me, because then so that then I don't have to like deal with everyone in terms of the cases that are being done. So for your case, I think I will try to look at it right now. I'm sorry about that. Okay, good. So I will do a little bit. I will do a little bit of more communication then, mainly through your class reps. And then if you have any issue, don't die alone. Just communicate it to the class reps. I think the two class reps have been quite quite proactive in this case, so that then any case that you have with ourselves, you can actually get through them. So instead of you dying silently, so you can be able to get in touch with them, and then they always forward to me everything that probably that needs my attention, so that then that one is a little bit easier for us to work. So instead of you, so anything that you have that has a problem, especially to do with this particular unit, then just approach the through the class rep, or you can actually do both, but I will always respond to them. Good. Okay, fantastic. So that's it for today. I think I need to do a lot of updates in terms of clean up, give feedback for those ones who had redone the concepts, and then we can be able to see how it goes. Thank you very much. Bye bye.